Alright guys, welcome to Black Diesel Garage. In this video I put a steelcraft bumper on my truck. I wanted a full bumper replacement to protect it from deer. I think it's a good idea to have these on the truck if you're either in a cattle pasture or you're in an area with a lot of deer. It can really save you some money if you were to hit a big deer like we have in Kansas. And rather than wiping out the front of your truck, steering, hood, lights, grill, coolers, whatever, especially on newer trucks, that stuff can cost way more than just one of these bumpers. So one of these bumpers can save you a lot of money if you happen to hit a deer. And this one has hit 2 deer. It's a little dented down near the bottom. The ranch hands have a pipe in there. They're a little more rigid. I liked the look of this one better than the ranch hand, and it was cheap on Marketplace. So I wound up with a steelcraft bumper. But the ranch hands do hold up a little better, and I've seen those on people's trucks where they have hit over 100 deer, which sounds insane, but some people do play the game of how many deer they can hit a year with those bumpers, and I've seen them that have hit 100+ deer and look perfectly fine. So they will save your truck if you hit a deer. I don't know about a cow. Helps if you rear end someone too, I would assume. But in my opinion, a good investment. And this video is just going to be showing you guys how this one looks on this truck and how to install a steelcraft full bumper replacement on a 2011 to 2015, I think it is, F250. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so I already have that bumper off and this bumper on, or laying there, but I'm going to tell you guys what it takes to get this bumper on and what it should take to put this bumper on the truck. To remove this bumper, what I did was I removed it from the brackets. There's 2 bolts here on either side, holding this rubber shield or air duct or whatever. There's some push pins, just some Christmas tree push pins. And then there's these brackets on the inside, which go to some smaller bolts. Here's the brackets that sit on the truck. With the tow hooks. I had to pull these out of there, and I'll give you the size in a minute. It sat upside down like this on top of the frame rail. Here's the slots where the bolts went from the bumper to the truck, the main bolts. And there's 3 of these on the bottom. The outer side brackets I showed you go up here on the cab mounts for the front clip, or I guess the front clip mounts. So you got 2 bolts there, 3 bolts holding your tow hook on, along with your bracket for your bumper. I'll give you the size real quick on these. The size that fit these bolts to pull the bumper brackets off are 15mm. And the little bolts here that held the sides of the bumper to the front clip mounts are 13mm. You have 2 of them on either side. Then it's a 19mm for the bolts that actually bolt through here. They're laying in the bed of the truck right now. And they have a bracket with 2 nuts through them. And then the bush guard has holes through the top that go through where your tow hooks go. And it bolts through the side here on this hole, and I believe this front hole. Here's the bracket that goes on top, the plate, because the holes in the bumper are pretty big. You get 1 bolt with them, and you use 2 bolts, I think, from your bumper, I believe, is where they come from. Oh, and here's those bolts that bolt through the bumper. And I believe that's what you use up here. And no, it does not look like it. It's way wider for the through bolts. You probably go off these side bolts then, but they look a little small. Maybe it's through bolts. No, that doesn't line up. The guy told me who I bought it from, I bought it used. Says you use some bolts off the bumper. And I will tell you later on once I get it on there, but I do not know what bolts yet because this bracket does not line up. So I'll get to throwing it on there and I'll figure it out, then I'll let you guys know what bolts went where. If you buy one of these bumpers, you will probably bolt these to your frame and then bolt the bumper to this bracket. I am not doing that because they're already bolted to the truck, except for this bolt is loose on either side. I do not know why. I will tighten that up later. But the reason I am leaving them attached to the bumper and putting it on the truck is because that way I can pick one end up by myself and hang it on the truck. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys in time lapse and you can watch me slap it in on there, then I'll explain it. So it's quite some time later. I have the bumper on the truck. It is not fully lined up where it goes. The reason for that is I need cab mounts for this truck because they're all rotted out like they are on this body style truck. So I don't want to worry about lining it up when I'm going to throw cab mounts on it at some point and have to readjust it after that. So it's slightly out of adjustment. I will say put this bumper on with help. I wound up scratching my truck a little bit. They'll probably buff out, but it was pain, it was heavy, and I scratched my truck up doing it. Also, this may not line up quite right because it's been bent. It's hit 2 deer. But I'm gonna pull all that out, and I wouldn't think that damage there would cause it to not fit right. So I'm not too worried about that. Those through bolts I was talking about with the bracket actually go here. I took the bottom 2 bolts that were previously in here from the owner before, and I put them in that top bracket with the 3 holes, and that cross piece fit right in here. So I got them bolted here on either side on the bottom. If you look on this flat bracket that sticks out towards us, there's 3 bolt holes. That's where you bolt your original tow hooks from the truck and the original bumper. You bolt them through this so you have tow hooks on this bumper. I did not install mine yet because I'm going to do the cab mounts, so therefore I'll need to loosen these to readjust the bumper, and those would be in my way, so I did not put them on yet. But I'm a big fan of having these bumpers because you buy one new, it's $1,500. You hit a deer, I'm from Kansas, we have big deer, you hit a deer, you take out your headlights, grill, possibly hood, possibly fenders, possibly coolers. It can turn into a lot more money than just the brush guard. I do believe they take away a little bit of the look from the vehicle. I kind of like a stock bumper on most vehicles. I do like this one better with the brush guard, but generally I like a stock bumper. But I think this is worth the money to protect your investment, how you get back and forth to work. But other than being perfectly lined up, this is about how it sits. And this is what one of these looks like on the truck. There's the brand. And I generally like ranch hands, but on a truck with a gap this high in here, the ranch hands have that nice pipe which makes them stronger than just this sheet. But ranch hands generally have a flat plate going straight back on their trucks and then a filler panel. And as tall as this gap is with the filler panel, I didn't think that looked as good, and I've heard of people having stuff go through that filler panel and bending it back. And the windows have also been tinted on the truck since you probably last saw it. But there it is with the bumper, for all you guys that were wondering about that. So thanks for watching Black Diesel Garage. I hope this video was informational to you and helpful, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you guys.